Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy them. The first story is called Triple Compliance. The hero in the story is a gentleman I work with called Roger. Roger retired from his career job a few years ago and works part-time on my team to keep himself busy. We work as part of a small team, providing a vital but niche service and are part of a larger department. We used to work in a large open plan office with the whole department. But when recent events happened, we were moved to a small office room a short distance away to continue our shift work with less exposure to other employees. Unfortunately, our new room is quite small and lacks a code rack, so we put our codes on the back of our chairs. One day we came into work to a reminder email from management that we couldn't put our codes on our chairs and had to put them on the code rack in the open plan office. They cited a health and safety issue where a chair once fell over in another department due to having a heavy jacket on it. I grumbled, since I had to take my wallet and other things out of my jacket pockets, as I didn't know who'd be in the other room where my jacket had to go and it wouldn't be secured. None of us were happy that our coats, scarves and other things would be in a completely separate room. I was complaining about it to Roger. And since he's just here for the fun of it, he decided to do something about it. He read the safety details in the employee manual, and the document stated jackets must be hung up and not placed on chairs. So for a week, Roger hung his jacket wherever he liked, on the door, on the edge of his desk, off the window ledge, even off the printer. But crucially, never off his chair. After a few days, we had an email advising that the safety document was amended to jackets must be hung on coat racks or coat hooks. I thanked Roger for helping, but figured that was that. I was wrong. Roger came into work with a screwdriver and a brand new coat hook. He screwed it into the back of the door and hung up his jacket. The next week we came into a removed coat hook and an additional rule in the safety document. Only procurement-approved fixtures and fittings can be used in offices. Well, it was nice whilst it lasted, I thought. But not our Roger. During the pandemic, we had much less paperwork and much more time to fill, so he devised a final twist. Roger sweet-talked our cleaner for access to the cleaning supplies cupboard. Under her watchful eye, he unscrewed one of the many hooks used for hanging cleaning bibs on. He then screwed it into the back of our office door, with a procurement-approved sticker on it clearly visible. Our manager eventually saw it, sighed and just said fine. We hung our coats happily on Roger's hook, and I congratulated him for being not once, not twice, but 3 times compliant. I also bought him a treat from the vending machine to say thanks. The next story is called Only Following Orders. This story happened a few years ago when I was working in a cafe as a cashier and waiter. Side note, my job was to work the bar and handle the till. But I was expected to help our waiters when I had the time, and they were swamped. Fun times. The place had 2 managers, one of which I call awesome because that's what she was, and the other one I call jerk. No points for guessing why. The awesome manager was a 40-something woman that took nothing from anyone, but was always willing to help if it was needed. The jerk, on the other hand, was an entitled brat no older than 23. She insisted that everyone referred to her by her full name, and generally spent her time at work berating people and chatting with 1 or 2 friends. Either way, due to some sort of scheduling shenanigans, it turned out that for a weekend we would have only me and 1 waiter working in there. I still have no clue what happened or why would everyone be okay with it. But we ended up having half the necessary workforce for a weekend. Saturday comes and the place is utterly packed. I'm talking full seating packed here. The awesome manager helps me and the waiter out. We are exhausted, but manage to pull through. I was hoping Sunday would be less stressful. Boy, how wrong I was. Sunday comes and it's the jerk who is on shift. As it goes, around 1 to 2 PM, the place starts getting filled in, and both me and the waiter are running around like headless chicken trying to serve the full cafe. She is sitting in her office despite me walking up to her and asking to help us. Okay, whatever. The rush dries down a little, but I have several orders for tea and an empty boiler, seeing as how I didn't have time to refill it. Water goes in, I go behind the bar and wait, and the jerk enters the stage. Seeing several empty teacups and me standing there, she asked me why I haven't made tea yet. I, as calmly as one could be after such a rush, tell her that I haven't had the time to refill the boiler, and I will get it done as soon as it heats up. Well, why hadn't you refilled it earlier? It's your job, do it properly. At this point, I was already stressed out enough for me to slam my fist down onto the bar and point at all the tables seated. I didn't have enough time, and I told you we needed help half an hour ago. I'm doing my job as well as I can while being understaffed. This has definitely struck a nerve. She looks me in the eye and goes, if you can't control your emotions, maybe you should go home right now. Sure, I'll be on my way. And I headed to the dressing room. She naturally decided to follow. I will make sure to fine you an amount of Russian money nobody here would get for leaving the shift early. I don't care, feel free. And just like that, I left my shift not even 5 hours after starting. I honestly felt so relieved to stay and made me realize that it's not worth it to put up with abuse on your work just for a paycheck. As an added bonus, the next time I came on my shift, the jerk was going out of her way to not talk to me. And I haven't had any fines for leaving that day. I did apologize to the waiter, but he was understanding. A few days later, I had a talk with HR, who told me that it's pretty hard to find a job these days, so maybe I should be more reserved. I told her that I was planning to move cities and this was my second to last month of working there. She didn't have much else to say. I hope you enjoyed today's video so far. If you want more content, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, don't forget to press the like button. It really helps the channel to grow. And now, on to the last story. The last story is called That's What the Boss Said. I work at a paint factory where we make batches of around 5,000 pounds, sometimes more. We have to use forklifts in order to lift the large tanks that we make it in order to package it. I got my forklift license a couple of years ago and have performed nearly every forklift task that we have to do hundreds of times. There are only 2 out of 12 workers without their forklift license at the plant, and those 2 are being trained. About a year ago, we created our safety committee. I am the member for the back of the warehouse, where we make and package the paint and where most of the workers are. We look out for any safety concerns, and if someone else has a concern or needs to make a report, we deal with that. We also do monthly and annual inspections of the premises. Our lead hand treats everybody like absolute garbage. And the boss does nothing about his behavior, his attitude or the mistakes he makes. They have known each other for over 30 years, including the jobs they worked at before here. They have been here around 20 years. We are about to start packaging an oil-based paint into our 5-gallon pails, like we always do. I lift up the forklift with the tank so that we can get a filter on it. And then, once the others are out of the way, I start going up more, so that I can line it up like I have done a few hundred times with no issues. This time, however, I had put a bit too much pressure on the gas pedal, and the tank went up too fast. So I stopped it before it got too high. Doing so, however, is also dangerous, because it is about 6,000 pounds of weight up in the air above the workers. Stopping it too fast could tip over the forklift and the tank of paint, causing possibly heavy damage and possibly injuring someone. Going too high could also have the same result. So I slowed it and let it sit for a moment, just to make sure everything was stable. The tank was not too high, the forklift didn't tilt, wobble or make any bad sounds, and everything was perfectly fine. The lead hand backs up with his forklift in the other room and sees me checking it and begins to shoo me out. I'm used to this, as are most other co-workers, because he will yell and scream and get mad at anybody who does anything even minutely wrong, or in a different way than what he has done for 20 years. He repeats himself multiple times, telling me why it's unsafe, which I had already acknowledged, and stated that I realized what I had done and what negative effects it could have had. He goes back to the other side and then comes over once more to repeat it a few more times. All I can say is, I'm well aware, as I continue getting everything ready for packaging. He takes this as a personal attack, goes to the boss and tells him the forklift tires were lifted off the ground and that we had to stabilize it, otherwise it would have fallen. The other 2 members of the safety committee start an investigation, talking to the guys that were there. Only one had seen what happened, and he stated that everything was fine and that we didn't need to stabilize, nor did the tires lift off. A week later, we start getting the packaging ready, and I get onto the forklift to get it prepared. The leading hand comes running over, saying that it is a safety issue and that he is driving. I tell him I'm more than capable, and his response is that he needs me, not the other 3 guys standing there who normally do it, to guide him forward. I just go along with it until after the packaging is done. Then I say to him that because he stated that it is a safety issue, I need to bring it up with the other committee members. We have to start an investigation on how to mitigate the safety issue and make it safer, as is my job whenever someone has a safety concern or issue. His response is aggressive at first, telling me he doesn't care, that it's already done, go ahead. Until he tells me that the boss told him that he was to be the only one lifting up tanks from now on. I tell him that's fine, but I still need to bring it up with the committee since he stated it was a safety issue, and he just grumbled and walked away. Since then, anytime we have a tank to lift, anywhere from full to empty, I stand there and wait for him to come and do it, sometimes telling him to come and do it. And whenever he tells me to do it, I just repeat what he said about the boss stating that he is the only one allowed to do so, and continuing to wait until he does it. This is an ongoing thing still, and it will be for a very long time, unless we are told otherwise by the boss. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day, bye bye.